the Exploration Toolkit features a wide range of different systems that you can use in your games. You can choose to use one of them, a few of them, or even all of them if you wish. They are drag and droppable components with no coding required. So, in this demo scene here, you can see I have a wide range of different systems to look at. Let's start with picking up objects. So, in the toolkit, you can have objects that you can pick up by clicking on them. You can then place them back down in the world, and they also have obstruction checks. So as you can see here, I cannot place this barrel inside of the table, only when it is clear. Or you can choose to have pick-upable objects that can only be placed in a specific location. In this case, this gem right here can only be placed inside of the box, and we can have events trigger when that happens. This could be good for a puzzle game where you might want to put a statue on top of a pressure plate or something like that. And over here, we have some chess pieces that we can only place down on predefined slots on this board. And of course, with these items, if you're placing them down, you can use the scroll wheel to adjust their rotation to make it very precise. So even if you want to have a game where you're building out a room, this would also be a good system for that. Now, let's look at the next system, which is going to be inspecting objects. Okay, if you're creating a detective or mystery game, you'll probably want the player to further analyze the objects they find in the world. For example, with this key, we can interact with it to have a little inspect screen where we can rotate it around and zoom in and out on the object. You can also have a little description down at the bottom explaining the player's thoughts or a description of the object. So you can inspect many different types of objects, and it is fairly easy to set up. Same thing for notes. You can set up notes for the player to read, as you know, this may be a story game that the player is going around and investigating. You can also have complex interactions. Let's say you want to have a puzzle box. Well, you can interact with this object right here, and if I click on the little hinge right here, you can see it opens up, and in here we could have an item that the player could add to their inventory or inspect further in. Same thing with this little matchbox right here. We can click on the drawer to open and close the matchbox drawer. So that is a look at inspecting objects. Now, there are a wide range of other systems. Let's go through some of them now. So let's have a look at doors. Doors are going to be a big part of many games, so you can open and close doors. This door right here, it requires a key to unlock, so you can pick up a key, interact with the door, and the door is now unlocked. This door right here is locked and it has a keypad, so if I enter the code 8267, that should open the door. 8267, and hit enter, and there we go. You can also have doors for little boxes like this. There's a wide range of different use cases. This door right here is controlled by a lever, so when I flick the lever, the door opens and closes. The toolkit also has a wide range of different levers and buttons that can have events you can connect things to. This door right here, it requires a keypad or a key card in order to unlock it, so we can equip the key card, interact with the door, and it opens that way. And then we can also have cupboards and drawers. So if you're creating a detective or a puzzle game, you can hide stuff in drawers, such as a note, for example, for the player to read. And you can also have cupboards that can open like so. And down here, we also have a keypad, which is locking this door here. So we can enter in the code 0000 and hit enter, and that can then open this door here. Next up, let's look at locks and keypads, okay? Because in your games, you probably want to lock away things from the player, and you can do that with a combination of keypads and combination locks. So with this combination lock, we have this box right here, which is currently locked, and we need to enter in the code 8327. So if I interact with this, the camera's going to zoom in. We can go 8, 3, 2, and 7. It'll unlock, and we can open the box. This one over here is basically just the exact same combination lock, but we can use it without having to zoom in the camera. And then over here we have keypads, okay? And over here we have a safe, which is locked behind a keypad. So if I interact with the safe, I can enter the code 1111 and enter, and that is going to open the safe, and you can hide stuff in here for the player to interact with. Now, we have two types of keypads. We have the one, as you saw on the safe, and one with a display. So if I interact with this keypad and enter 1, 4, and enter some numbers here and click enter, it's going to be the wrong code, so it's going to buzz at me. But if I enter in 41672, 41672, and hit enter, it's going to open whatever we are connecting it to. Now, let's also look at lockpicking, okay? As that's probably something you might want to have if it's a puzzle game or even a horror game. You might have something chasing after the player and they need to unlock something quick. There are two types of lockpicking inside of the toolkit. The first kind is tension lockpicking, which is something you might see in Skyrim. And it works like this. You interact with whatever you want to open, that be a door, container, etc., and you have to find the sweet spot, okay? If you've ever played Skyrim, you'll probably understand how this type of lockpicking works. Essentially, you're going to move the lockpick around, find the sweet spot, and then it will open. There are many different difficulties: easy, medium, hard, and expert. Expert difficulty can be quite hard. I just managed to unlock it there on the first try, which is pretty lucky of me, but generally, expert can be quite hard. And you also can require certain things from the player. For example, in order to unlock this box right here, the player needs to have a lockpick kit in their inventory. If I press tab, you can see my inventory is empty. If I pick up this kit, there we go, it's in the inventory, and now I can attempt to open this lock. Likewise, this one over here requires me to be holding a lockpick in my hand so I can pick it up, interact with the box, and now I can pick the lock. And if I fail, the lockpick will break and it will disappear from my hand. Now, as well as tension lockpicking, we also have pin lockpicking, which is similar to the type in Elder Scrolls Online. And with this one, we have to move the pick around to the individual pins, hold down, and when the pins begin to wiggle, let go to set the pin. High difficulties will mean that the pins wiggle for less time before breaking the pin. So I'll show you what that is like on an expert difficulty here. You'll see that if I hold down the pin too long when it begins wiggling, the pick is going to break and it's going to boot us out. And of course, you can have items that are required to unlock, as well as pick-upables that the player needs to hold. Next up, we have our inventories. So there are two types of inventories. First up, we have a hotbar inventory, which allows us to pick up items, and we can then equip them here, as you can see. We can equip a flashlight, press F to turn it on and off, and we can even put items back down into the world once we pick them up. The second type of inventory is going to be a window inventory, and this one is the one I showed before. You press tab to open up a little window here. You can pick up your items and have them displayed in the inventory right here. In this demo right here, we have it set up so that when we click on the trophy, it is going to inspect it. So you can pick up items and inspect them further from the inventory as well. And you can also use items in your inventory to act as keys. So for example, this key right here is going to be consumed when I unlock the door. As you can see, there we go. Now, next up, we have our navigation systems. So first up, we have our compass bar. The compass bar is great for RPG games or exploration games where you might want to guide the player around. And you can see it points north, south, east, and west. You can also have these navigation markers which appear in the world to highlight quests or locations that the player has to reach, and they appear on the compass bar as well. In this demo, I can spawn in new navigation markers with Q, and those will appear dynamically on the compass bar and in the world here for us to see. I can also change the compass bar design to pretty much whatever you want. So you can have a Skyrim type of design right here, or this ornate looking one, which might be good in a escape room type of game. We then also have mini-maps, and mini-maps are going to be good for RPG games or any sort of exploration. Now this uses the exact same marker system as the compass bar, so you can see in the world we have these little navigation markers we can follow, and those also dynamically appear on the minimap. And if I press Q, I can create a few of them right here, and as you can see, those are appearing on the minimap right there. So these can be used for quests, for objectives, for marking out locations for the player to reach, pretty much whatever you want, and these can of course be spawned in dynamically. We also then have player stats. This is a way of keeping track of things without needing game objects or inventories. You can see on the top left corner, I have keys and gems. I can click this button to give myself some gems and pick up some keys here to add to my key stat. And we can also use these keys to then unlock doors. You can pretty much use them for whatever you want as well. Maybe in a puzzle game, the player requires a certain number of coins they have to pick up. You can use that system for that. Something else we have is levers and buttons. You can connect up various levers to different things, light switches, switchboard switches, buttons, big levers. These are very customizable and fairly easy to create. All of these really just use one of two components, so you can drag and drop them on and set them up very quickly. Then we have our main menu system. This is a main menu template that you can use in your games. So on the left-hand side, you have different screens. You can have a credit screen, which has scrolling text that loops. You can have a settings screen, and in here you can modify your resolution and all these other settings, audio settings as well, and these all get saved to the player prefs, so these do persist between playthroughs. And controls, where you can adjust your player's controls. So for example, if I want to change the move up into, let's just say T, I can click on W, press T, and it is now changed. And of course, you can reset that right there. We also include an escape room demo game, which has been constructed purely using the systems and components of the toolkit with no extra coding. Now, you can go up here, you can read the message that has been left for you. You can look around the level to find the different clues that may be lying about to unlock these individual things. I'm going to leave this up to you to figure out the solution for this, as it just shows you how you can interact with the different gameplay elements in order to construct some pretty fun games with, again, no coding required. But of course, if you do want to implement coding, you can of course do that. There are functions and there are events that you can connect to, and the documentation will go over the bulk of that. So I hope you enjoy what this toolkit has to offer, and I hope you give it a go.